Yesterday, what we discussed it? Yesterday, what we discussed it?
Format printer and different types of databases where we'll collect the data and all.
Okay, okay, yes, okay. So that means, that means, how we need to connect with the what class is happening? Let's see. Okay, see that means today we need to discuss about, okay, we are discussing about the Excel, how we need to connect the Excel and how we need to load the data, Excel data into the Power BI, and how we need to connect to the SQL server also, right? With the SQL server also we are connecting, how we can connect, how we can load the data into the Power BI. Okay. Next one is enter data. Okay. Enter data means if you want to create a tables. Okay. If you want to create a table, that means if you want to create a columns or a rows or anything in the Power BI, then you have to use an option called enter data. Enter data is nothing but if you want to create our own table in Power BI, then you have to use an option called enter data. Okay, when you click on enter data, here itself you need to create a columns or creating a rows or anything. If you want to create it means here itself. Suppose for example, in the column header, you want to give the column name. That means just select the column header, and so here I'm giving the column name. So just enter the data from your keyboard. You have to type the columns. Okay, and after that, below that, see, this is a row. Okay, this row related what values you need to give, just enter there itself in that particular like that. If you want to create a new column, this plus button you need to create it and click on this plus button, then automatically new column will be created. In this new column, the column header name what you want to print it, that name, just select the column header and click on, and and having name like this, it will display. If you want to create a new row by using this plus button, you can create a new row. By using this plus button, you can create a new column. By using this plus button, you can create a row. That means, or else, if you want to create a new row, either by clicking on this plus button, you can create a new row, or else there is another also. Okay, in your keyboard, there is up arrow, down arrow, left, right arrows are there or not? In your keyboard, the left, right, down, up arrows are there or not? So those arrows, by using those arrows, you can create the new new rows. Okay. So if you click on down arrow, then it will, the new row will be created. If you click on right arrow, okay, the new column will be created. Understand or not? Is it clear? Suppose, for example, so I'm in the name column, okay, in the cell itself. In the first cell itself, I need to give the value. Directly, you need to give the value of that particular column. Okay. And if you want to create a new row, then what arrow button you need to click on? Down arrow button. That means there is a down arrow button in your keyboard, right? Down arrow is there in your keyboard or not? Click on that one, the new row will be created. Understand? Or else by clicking on this plus button also you can create a new row. Suppose if I want to create a new column, then what you need to do? By clicking on this plus button, you can create a new column. Or else there is another option is also there. Okay, what is that? There is another option is also there. What is that option? Means if you want create a new column, then okay, by using right arrow, you can create a new column. You can create a new column. That means, see here in this particular cell, I need to give the value, and here I'm giving BB like this, like this. So how many rows you want to create it? You by clicking down arrow, you can create a new rows. Okay. Plus button, the new row will be created. If I want to create a new column, either you need to click on this option, or else in your keyboard, the right arrow button is there, right? By clicking on this also, you can create a new column. Understand? Like this. See here, 3 and CC. Okay. And next one is, if I want to create a new column means, okay, just click on the button. Okay. Like this. Okay, like this. You have to give the name of this table, and see, after giving a name of this table, in this enter data, you will have load, edit, and cancel option is there or not. Okay. Load is nothing but, so when you connected with the data source, you will have how many options are there? How many options are there at the time of connecting to that particular data? Ravindra? If you connected to that particular data source, how many options will get it? 3 options, right? Load, transform data, and cancel. What is that? How many options are there? Transform data and cancel. So same like that, when you create a table in enter data, so after giving a column names and rows and everything, here you need to give the name of the table name. Once you give the name of the table name, you will have an option called load, edit, and cancel. Load is nothing but it will load the data into the model. Okay. If you want to modify the data, okay, that means whatever the enter data is there, if you want to modify it, you have to use an option called edit. Okay. If you want to cancel it, means by clicking on this cancel button, you can close this particular window itself. You can close this particular window itself. That means, so click on load, then automatically that table data will be loaded into Power BI. That means what is enter data? In enter data, you can create your own table, like creating columns or rows or anything. Okay, understand? So suppose for example, if I want to delete the row, okay, then what you need to do? Okay, so again, see here. Suppose if I want to delete that particular column, then what you need to do? Whatever column you want to delete, on the column header, you need to select that particular column header, right click on the column header, you will have an option called delete. When you click on delete it, okay, when you have whatever column you want to delete it, select the column header, and after that right click on the column header, you will have an option called delete it. Once you click on delete it, then automatically it will be deleted. Okay, suppose if I want to delete a row, then what will happen? See here, there are numbers are available here, right? Whichever row you want to delete it, that row you need to select it. Okay, here itself, first you need to select that particular row and right click on that particular row itself. Then there is an option called delete will be there. The row will be deleted. Understand or not? That means, so like this, while at the time of creating a table, okay, while at the time of creating a table by using enter data, You can create a columns or you can create a rows and everything you can do it here. Okay. That means in this entire data itself, you can delete the columns and you can delete the rows also. Okay. Now you understand. Now you understand how we can create a table by using metadata, right? And how you can insert a new row or insert a new column. How we can delete a new column. Okay. How we can delete the column. Everything that we discuss it, right? Okay. Next one is in metadata. If you want to edit that particular metadata table, okay, can we edit that particular metadata table? Yes, it is possible. Okay, that means suppose for example you have created a table by using metadata, right? So after 2 days, I want to modify some values in that particular table itself. Then what you need to do is you need to go to this transform data. Once you go to the transform data, so whichever table you want to modify it, that table. See, this table only I'm creating by using enter data, right? So that's the reason. Okay, you have to select this particular table and you will have on the right side in the applied steps, there you will have an option called source, right? Double click on that particular source itself. Okay, see here. So whatever table you are double clicking on that one, okay, then automatically the table will open. Okay, see that means we so tables we are creating and data, those tables only we can edit those things. Understand? Those is editable. Understand clearly or not? Sautaro?
Yes, sir. But I'm
Okay.
having
So if
small doubt. Even I will repeat the video session, sir. Recording session.
okay. Check it and
If I still have a doubt, I'll come to you, sir.
Ravindra.
Yes, sir. But here your voice is not audible clearly. So when I watch your video, when I have any doubt, I meet you.
Isn't it? Is it? Okay, 1 second.
Sometimes,
Yes, son. Maybe my end or your end. That is the problem.
Is it clear now?
Right now, clear, son.
Okay. So that means you understand, right? By using entry data also, we can create a table in Power BI. Okay. You can create a table in Power BI. So in that by using entry data, you can create a columns or creating a rows. Okay. So if you want to delete a column or if you want to delete a row, anything you can do it here itself. Okay. So after creating a table using enter data, if you want to edit that particular enter data table means you can edit it. Where you can edit it means suppose see here. So table 2 is there, right? This table 2 is created by using enter data only. So if you want to edit that particular table, okay, if you want to edit that particular table again, okay, then what you need to do? Then you need to go to the transform data. Okay, once you go to the transform data, you will have an option called whichever table it is there. First, you have to select the table. Okay, suppose I created a table called table of 1 2, right? Table of 2. Okay, once in this particular table, okay, so you will have all the columns and everything. Okay, you will have all the columns and everything. So if you want to modify, it means that in that right side you will see an option called applied steps. What is that? Applied steps options are there. With that, so in that applied steps, in the first option is there, right? Source. Okay, double click on that particular source itself. Okay, once you double click on that one, once you double click on that one, then the table will open again. Okay, the table will open again. Suppose I don't want this column, then what you need to do? Right click on that particular column, you can delete it like that. If you want to do any modification, that means suppose for example, instead of BB, I want to replace it to DD like that. So that means after creating a table, if you want to do any modifications on the table, okay, so only enter data table only we can modify it. Okay, that means whatever table you are created by using enter data, okay, after creating that, if you want to modify anything in that particular table, okay, then what you need to do? You need to come to the transform data. In the transform data, which table you are created by using enter data, that table you have to select it first. That table you have to select it first. Once the table is selected, so in that the right side you will have an option called applied step. In that first option is there, right? First step is there, right? That step is source is there. Okay, in that source, double click on that one. Again, this table will open it again. Okay, and here again, if you want to do any modifications on the data, you can do it like this. Okay, like this. By using enter data we can create it and we can modify it. Understand? But one more important point, whatever data source, whatever the table is created by using data source, okay, that means you are selecting Excel data source. Okay, suppose for example you are selecting an Excel data source. Okay, after selecting an Excel data source, whichever table you want, you can load the data. Those related tables are non-editable. Non-editable, because data source related tables, if any table is created, those are non-editable. Only whichever table is created by using enter data, those tables are only editable. Understand the difference between data source related tables and enter data table. Okay, like this you can do it. Understand? Okay, next one is recent sources. What is recent sources? That means recently whichever data sources you are connected, those data sources you can see it again here itself. Those data sources you can see it here. You can see it here. So suppose for example, see all the data sources are recently I connected. So if you want to click on that particular data source, that directly it will connect to that particular data source and load the data again here. See, that means in the recent sources, recently whichever data sources you are connecting, all you can see it there. If you want to click on anything, means it directly connected to that particular data sources. See here, it will directly connected to this particular server and database name and everything. Understand clearly or not? Okay, like this. Recently, whichever data sources we connected, those data sources are available, which whatever you want, you can click on that. You can directly connect to that particular data source itself. Okay, understand or not? Next one is transform data. Okay, sorry. And one more thing is in enter data, I forget one point. In enter data, so you know how to create a column, you know how to create a row. Okay, you know how to modify the table, enter data table also. But in enter data, not only doing that one, suppose your data is there in Excel. Okay, suppose my data is there in this particular location itself. Okay, suppose this is an Excel. In this Excel, the data is there. This is an Excel data. Okay, I want to copy it here. And can we paste it in enter data? Yes, you can paste it. Okay, that means in enter data, not only create manually in that particular table itself. That means your data is there in some other location. Just you need to copy from there itself and paste it in the enter data. That is also possible. Okay, in enter data, suppose for example, so here you are creating a columns and rows and everything, right? Instead of creating columns and rows and everything, so if data is there in some other location, you have to copy the data and paste it here also you can do it. In only enter data only it is possible like this. Suppose if you want to copy from some other location and paste it here means you just need to copy the data from there itself, and in the column header, you need to paste it here itself. You need to paste it here. Once you paste it, then automatically whatever the table data you copied from in another data, so that means in Excel, the same data will be created here itself. See here, just so you need to go to that particular data, so particular source itself, and wherever the data, not only Excel, wherever the data is there, just you need to copy the data and paste it here itself. Once you paste it in the enter data column, then automatically with those columns, the table will be created. Understand? That means, so not only in enter data, not only creating a tables or columns or anything. Okay, not only creating columns or rows. If your data is there in some other location, you have to copy that data and click on enter data option. Okay, when you click on, see here, I'm clicking on enter data option here itself. Okay, I click on enter data option. Once I click on enter data, whatever data you copied, you see there is a, on the right, on the left side corner, there is a box is there, right? Click on that box and click on paste. How you can paste it? How you can paste it here? Control plus V. There is a shortcut is there, right, for pasting, right? Control plus V. That you have to do it here. Once you do it, automatically the data will be copied here itself. Understand? Is it clear or not? Like this, like
Yes.
this, we can create a table in the table in a enter data in different ways. If you want to create manually means you can create it. If you want to copy from another location of table and paste it here also, that also it is possible. Okay. Next one is recent sources. Recent sources means recently whatever data sources you are connected, all the data sources are available here itself. And if you click on any of the option means it will directly connect to that particular source and select the table. That's it. Then easily we can load it. Okay, see here, I'm directly connected to that particular server and database. So what will happen is time consumption is, it will take, it will, so it will be the time consumption, right? So instead of clicking on the server name, giving the server name, database name, and after selecting the table, okay, instead of that, in recent sources, if your data source is there, just click on that one. It will directly connect it to the server and database and directly open the tables. And here, whichever tables you want, you can click on that one and load that particular table again. Okay, understand? These are the recent sources. Next one is transform data. What is transform data? Means I told you, right? When you are connecting with a data source, okay, you will have three options, right? Load, transform data, and cancel. There are three options is there, right? Load, transform data, and cancel. So when you click on transform data, what will happen? That means if you want to do any modifications on the data level after getting a data into the Power BI, if you want to do any modifications on the data level, then you have to go with the transform data. Understand? So that means, see, if suppose for example, if I want whatever the tables are available here, if I want to modify any of the table means must and should you need to go to the transform data, because in the transform data only we can do the modifications like removing columns, replacing values, so etc. like that. Okay, if you want to do any modifications on the data level means that we need to go to the transform data and do the modifications there itself. Understand clearly or not? Okay, so that means when you click on this transform data, the new window will open. Okay, the new window will open. This window we can call it as transform data window or Power Query editor window. What is this? When you click on transform data window, okay, then the new window appears. See, that means for each and every file, see, this is a model related one, and this is a transform data. New window will open. Okay, this window we can call it as transform data window or Power Query editor window. Okay, here itself we can do all the modifications on the data level. Okay, in that in that in that in that the first option is close and apply. What is the first option? Close and apply. Close and apply is nothing but in this there are three options are there: close and apply, apply and close. How many options are there? Three options are there: close and apply, and close. Understand? So if you click on close and so first of all we need to discuss apply. That means what is apply? That means suppose for example in this Power Query editor window or transform data window, if you do any modifications on this, okay, suppose if you apply any option here, suppose for example in place of Canada I'm replacing to another value. That means I want to apply the replace option. Then what you need to do, select that particular value and click on this option. Then what will happen? In place of Canada, what value you want to replace it? See, like see here like this. That means, what will happen here means this particular option is applied. Once this option is applied, okay, once this option is applied, that means in this particular transform data window or Power Query window, if you apply any option, see here in home tab there are number of options are there. In home ribbon there are number of options are there. In add column there are number of options are there. Like that, for each and everything there are different options are there. There are different options are there. Okay, there are different options are there. In all those options, okay, so in all those options if you apply any of the option, then must and should you need to click on apply. What will happen? Suppose for example if you didn't click on apply, what will happen? The whatever the options you applied here, those options are not saved permanently into the Power BI memory. Okay, so whatever options you applied in this Power Query editor or transform data window, must and should you need to click on apply. Then only the changes will be saved permanently into the Power BI memory. Otherwise, it won't save it. Suppose, for example, without clicking on apply, I just close this particular window. Okay. Whenever I close this one, see here. So on the top here, it will shows like apply changes or discard changes options will come, because what it is showing is you are forget to apply the changes in the transform data and you are closing that particular window. Do you want to apply those changes? That means, do you want to save those changes? Means, if you want to save those changes, means you need to click on apply changes. Suppose, for example, I don't want those changes. Then what you need to do? Discard changes. Click on discard it. Then whatever the replace option we did it, that will be removed. See here, when you go to this, see here, did the step there here? No, that's the reason. See here, suppose if you applied any option in this particular transform data window or power query window, must and should you need to click on apply. Then only those new changes will be saved permanently into the Power BI memory. Okay, otherwise it won't change. Okay. Suppose without applying that, suppose if you click on close it, what will happen? Close means this Power Query Editor or transform data window will be closed. What is this? This Power Query Editor window or transform data window will be closed. Understand? And if you click on the close and apply, means what will happen? First, whatever changes you apply, whatever options you applied here, those changes permanently saved in the memory, and this Power Query Editor window will be closed. So whichever option is required, you can use it. So if you want to say just to save the data, you don't want to close it, then which option you have to use it, man? Tataro. So, Tataro, are you there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, if I want to apply if you want to save the data permanently into the memory, and I want to be there in this particular window, in all these three, which option we need to choose it? Tataro,
Apply and close.
do you understand my question or not? What I'm saying is, whatever options you applied here, those will be saved in the Power BI memory, and I don't want to close this particular transform data window or Power Query Editor. Then in all these three, what option we have to choose it? Ravindra?
Apply the option.
Yes, apply option we have to choose it. Means, see, I want to save the data, but I don't want to close it, means you have to click on apply. Okay. If you
Okay, sir.
want,
Right.
after saving the data, and if you want to close this Power Query Editor window or transform data window, then you have to use an option called close and apply. So without
Sir,
applying the changes, if you want to close this particular window, means just you need to click on the close window. Understand clearly?
sir, my understanding, just a minute. If we want to save the data within the Power BI memory without closing the Power Query or transform
Uh,
data, we need
mm.
to do apply.
Yeah, apply only, right?
Yeah, okay, sir. If you want to close both the tabs, are and we need to keep the data, means close and apply.
We need to save the data.
for saving the data, and we need to close the data. We need to close the tabs as well. We need to choose the close and apply.
Yeah.
Without saving the data, we need to simply we can choose close.
Yes, yes, that's it. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Next one is new source. What is new source will do? That means if you when you click on new source, that means in the model you will have an option called get data, right? If you want to connect it to the data source and load the data, what option you have to use it in the model? Get data. That means see here when you come here, if you want to connect it to the any data source by using get data option only, you can use it, right? You can connect to the data source and load the data. So in transform data, the same option is available. That option we can call it as new source. Okay, from in the transform data also we can connect it to that particular data source and load the table into the Power BI, or that means Power BI into the transform data. Okay, that it will be loaded into the transform data. So select that particular data source and connect it and load the data. Suppose I want to connect with Excel. Click on connect it. Once you click on connect it, okay, what Excel data you want, select that particular Excel, and not only Excel, any data source. Suppose for example, I want dim data and select the table and click on OK. Then that particular table data will be loaded into transform data window. See here, that table is loaded it again. Okay, that means not only in the Power BI, the same if you want to connect to the data source and load the data, there is an option called new source option is there. Understand? Okay. Next one is recent sources. You already see this option in the transform data, right? Sorry, in the model, right? What recent sources will do? Recent here, all the recent data sources which you connected here, it is available here itself. Whichever data source you want to click up, just click on that one, then automatically you connected to that particular data source itself. Automatically you connected to that particular data source itself and load that particular table again here. Okay, next one is enter data. Enter data you already know, right? In the Power BI desktop, what enter data option will do? That means if you want to create a table in Power BI, if you want to create a table, that means like columns, rows, and everything by using enter data, you can. So the same option, whatever it is there in the model, the same option here also it is available. That means the same option in transform data or Power Query window, here it is available. Next one is data source settings. What is data source settings means that we can discuss it in tomorrow's class. Understand clearly? Okay, is it clear or not?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
in tomorrow's class we can discuss it about what is data source settings and everything. Okay, any doubts in today's class?